The golden rays of the morning sun stretched across the vast plains of Kruger National Park, casting long shadows over the dew-covered grass. The savanna was alive with the melodies of birds greeting the new day, weaver birds chattering in their woven nests, and hornbills calling from the treetops. In the middle of this wilderness, a mother cheetah and her cub lay resting under the shade of a solitary acacia tree, its gnarled branches stretching out like an umbrella against the warming sky. The cub, still young and full of curiosity, playfully batted at a fallen leaf, its tiny paws swiping at the air as the leaf danced in the gentle breeze. Unaware of the hidden dangers lurking in the tall grass, the cub's world was one of innocent wonder. For weeks, the mother cheetah had been teaching her cub the ways of survival, how to stalk prey with silent precision, how to stay hidden among the swaying grasses, and when to unleash that explosive burst of speed to run from danger. She was a patient teacher, her amber eyes always watchful, her lithe body a testament to years of mastering the art of survival in this unforgiving land. But today, fate had a different lesson in store for them, one that would test their bond and her resolve in ways she couldn't yet foresee. The cub, driven by its adventurous spirit, wandered a little too far from its mother's side. The world was still so new to it, every rustle and shadow an invitation to explore. Its sharp eyes caught sight of movement in the distance, a flicker of motion against the golden sea of grass. At first it thought it was another cub, perhaps a playmate to tumble with in the morning light. Its tail flicked with excitement as it crouched low, mimicking the hunting stance its mother had shown it. But as the shape moved closer, the cub's playful demeanor shifted to unease. The silhouette sharpened into something unfamiliar, something menacing. A pack of hyenas had been watching from the shadows, their hungry eyes locked onto the vulnerable young cheetah, their spotted coats blending seamlessly with the dry brush. The mother cheetah sensed the danger almost immediately. Her ears twitched, catching the faint cackle of the hyena's eerie laughter carried on the wind. She had encountered hyenas before, opportunistic scavengers with bone-crushing jaws who wouldn't hesitate to attack a lone cub if given the chance. Her body tensed, muscles coiling like springs beneath her sleek spotted coat, ready to defend her offspring at any cost. She rose to her feet, her gaze narrowing as she scanned the horizon, her maternal instincts kicking into overdrive. The hyenas moved closer, their low growls vibrating through the air, a chilling symphony of threat. The lead hyena, larger than the rest, took a slow step forward, its matted fur bristling and its teeth bared in a menacing grin. The mother cheetah let out a deep guttural growl, a clear warning that echoed across the plains. "Come any closer, and you will regret it." Her tail lashed back and forth, a signal of her readiness to fight, her claws flexing into the earth beneath her. But the hyenas were relentless. They knew the odds were in their favor. A single cheetah, no matter how fierce, was no match for an entire pack working in brutal coordination. Slowly they spread out, their movements calculated and deliberate, attempting to circle her and cut off any escape route. The cub let out a soft whimper, its small body trembling with fear as it pressed closer to its mother's side, seeking the safety it had always known in her presence. The mother's heart pounded, but her focus remained razor-sharp. She couldn't afford to falter now. Then, with lightning speed, the mother cheetah lunged at the lead hyena, swiping her razor-sharp claws across its muzzle in a blur of motion. The hyena yelped in pain and staggered back, blood dripping from the fresh wound, momentarily stunned by the ferocity of her attack. The air filled with the scent of dust and blood, and for a fleeting moment, it seemed her strike might deter them. But the others didn't flinch. They saw their chance, their eyes glinting with predatory intent as they edged closer, emboldened by their numbers. The tension hung thick in the air, the standoff teetering on the edge of chaos. The cub huddled closer, its wide eyes darting between its mother and the encroaching pack. The mother cheetah hissed again, her stance unwavering, prepared to take on the entire pack if it meant giving her cub a chance to live. Somewhere in the Distance, a flock of birds took flight, their wings beating against the sky as if sensing the drama unfolding below. The savannah seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the next move. Just as the pack prepared to rush in, a deep rumbling sound echoed across the plains, shattering the stillness. The unmistakable roar of an approaching vehicle cut through the tension like a blade. The hyenas froze, their ears swiveling toward the noise, uncertainty flickering in their predatory gaze. The rangers of Kruger National Park had been on their routine patrol, monitoring the movement of wildlife across the sprawling reserve. Tio, a seasoned ranger with years of experience etched into the lines of his weathered face, was behind the wheel of the open-topped Jeep, his eyes scanning the landscape with practiced ease. His team, two younger rangers, Nia and Thabo, sat beside him, their binoculars trained on the horizon. When Tio spotted the confrontation unfolding before him, he instantly understood the gravity of the situation. The mother cheetah's defensive posture, the cub's trembling form, the hyena's circling advance. It was a scene he'd witnessed before, and he knew how it could end. "Hold on," he told his team, his voice steady but urgent, as he pressed down on the gas pedal, speeding toward the scene. The Jeep bounced over the uneven terrain, kicking up clouds of dust as it closed the distance. Nia gripped the edge of her seat, her heart racing, while Thabo reached for the radio, ready to call for backup if the situation escalated further. The hyenas hesitated. The sound of the approaching vehicle disrupted their hunt, throwing their instincts into conflict. The leader of the pack snarled in frustration, its bloodied muzzle twisting into a grimace, but it knew better than to take unnecessary risks against an unknown threat. The pack exchanged quick, guttural calls, their unity wavering. With one last lingering glare at the mother cheetah, they retreated into the tall grass, their forms melting into the shadows as quickly as they had appeared. The savannah exhaled, the immediate danger dissolving into the rustling breeze. Tio and his team slowed the vehicle to a stop, the engine idling softly as they watched in awe. The mother cheetah cautiously approached her cub, her movements graceful, yet deliberate, gently nuzzling its head with her muzzle. The cub, still frightened, pressed itself against her side, its tiny body seeking the warmth and comfort only she could provide. The rangers didn't dare move too close. They knew that. In moments like this, the best thing they could do was observe from a respectful distance and ensure the animals were safe. Nia lowered her binoculars, a small smile tugging at her lips as she whispered, "She's incredible." The mother cheetah turned her head toward the rangers, her amber eyes catching the morning light. For a brief second, her gaze locked onto Tio's, and in that silent exchange, he felt something profound, an unspoken understanding, a connection that transcended species. It was as if she was saying, "Thank you." Her expression was unreadable, yet heavy with meaning, a fleeting acknowledgement of the intervention that had tipped the scales in her favor. Then, without another moment's hesitation, she nudged her cub, encouraging it to follow her. The cub hesitated, its legs still shaky from the ordeal, but it obeyed, its small frame struggling to keep up as they made their way toward the safety of the distant trees. The rangers watched them go, their silhouettes shrinking against the vastness of the savannah until they disappeared into the embrace of the wild. "That," Tio muttered to himself, his voice barely above a whisper, "is the true meaning of a mother's love." He rested his hands on the steering wheel, the weight of the moment settling into his chest. Nia nodded silently beside him, while Thabo scribbled a quick note in the patrol log, the pen scratching against the paper as he recorded the encounter. As they resumed their patrol, the Jeep rumbling back to life, Tio couldn't shake the image from his mind. The fierce determination of a mother willing to fight against all odds to protect her child. The savannah stretched out before them, endless and untamed, its secrets unfolding with every passing mile. Somewhere out there, the mother cheetah and her cub continued their journey, stronger than before, their bond forged anew in the crucible of survival. The sun climbed higher, bathing the plains in golden light, and the rangers drove on, their hearts filled with quiet admiration. In the heart of Kruger National Park, a story of courage and love had just been written, one that would linger in their minds long after the dust had settled. Back at the ranger station later that day, as the team gathered around a small fire to share their stories, Tio recounted the tale with a gleam in his eye. "You should have seen her," he said, gesturing with his hands to mimic the cheetah's swift strike. "One swipe, and that hyena didn't know what hit it." Nia laughed, adding her own observations about the cub's timid bravery while Thabo speculated about where the pair might be now, perhaps resting under another acacia or teaching the cub to hunt in the fading light. And somewhere in the vastness of the savanna, the mother cheetah lay with her cub, the day's trials behind them. The cub, now a little wiser, nestled close, its breathing steady as the stars began to pierce the darkening sky. The wild had tested them, but they had endured, together.